Verse 173. Individual existences are appearances, images, like Maya, like a mirage, a dream, a wheel made by a revolving firebrand, the Gandharva's castle, an echo. They are all born in the same manner. I think perhaps from that list, the echo has more physical validity than all the rest. But however, I think we can understand echo here as the traditional understanding that an echo is actually a reply to your call, as if it's from another sound source. But such a notion, as well as all the other examples here, are simply plays of the mind. And they are all born in the same manner, which means they're not born at all. And this verse is just stating the point once again that individual existences are of the same nature. We can describe them as notional. We have notions of objects out there. We have notions of individual entities out there. These notions assume that they are real. They are independent of me. This is how we're educated. But it's also how consciousness works. It gives reality to whatever it's aware of. We can understand this easily if we consider the phenomenon of dreams. We give reality to everything that appears in the dream. Subsequently we realize that the contents of the dream have no independent reality. They are unborn. And once we follow the direction of the next verse, we realize this too about all those entities and objects which we regard as real in the so-called waking state. So once we realize this, we can follow verse 174. Non-duality, suchness, emptiness, ultimate limit, essence. The word here is dharmata. Non-discrimination. All these I teach as belonging to the aspect of perfected knowledge, parinishpanna. Parinishpanna we've encountered before as one of the three svabhavas back in video 30. We could describe verse 173 as the negative aspect of realization. We're realizing that what we've taken as reality was a mistake, just as we take dreams as reality. And verse 174 is pointing us to reality, to what is described here as the aspect of perfected knowledge. I think this aspect is referring to just talking about perfected knowledge. We can't really talk about it. This point is touched on in the next verse. But let's look at this in some detail. Non-duality. You're probably familiar with the term. It means not thinking in terms of opposites. But there's a broader understanding. I used the example of dream. The thing about dream is, it's one word. It's one word which can describe lifetimes of experience. It can describe the unlimited playings of the imagination. And when we're caught up in dream, that's reality. It's often more intense in our so-called waking reality, the terrors, the eroticism, the emotions, the feelings are somehow more acute in dreams, more powerful. And yet, once we've woken up, we just say, it was all a dream. So we've moved away from the reality of dream, from the duality of dream, the duality of objects and people and me experiencing whatever was being experienced. We put this label dream onto it. This is the non-dual realization. In the same way, we realize, as the previous verse was indicating, that all of this is non-dual. And we can slap a label on this and say it's samsara. It's samsara. Everything that we experience, everything that we feel, everything that we believe, everything that we passionately invest in, emotionally and every other way, it's samsara. And in doing so, just as we relate all the experiences when we're asleep as dream, and we distance ourselves from that experience, once we've labelled everything as samsara in the waking state and realised its nature as samsara, we distance ourselves from it and come back to what's described here as suchness. As suchness. If this is a mystery to you, then I suggest, at least tentatively, coming back to some kind of sense of being. A sense of who or what you are fundamentally, not an idea about who or what you are fundamentally, but a sense of your own being. It seems very strange that you might have difficulty with this. That we shouldn't have a sense of our own being. Maybe you don't have difficulty with this. It should be the most natural thing, coming back to a sense of your own being. So I tentatively suggest this, coming back to a sense of your own being, as a way of approaching suchness. The trouble is, there's nothing we can say about it really. This is a realization. It's empty of all conceptual notions. There's no thinking about it. Once you're thinking about it, you're no longer there. Once you're thinking about it, you're back in dualistic thinking. Sense of being is something you can rest in. Leave the thoughts alone. Rest. In that which is empty of all thoughts. And if you're wondering what this is all about, or reluctant to do so, or don't see the value of it, well, what you can do once you're here is realize that there is nothing beyond this. This is the ultimate limit. This is the power of this realization. There is nothing beyond it. It's the heart, the essence, of all things. This is the dharmata, the ultimate thingness, which isn't a thing at all, of course. And we remain in this by not discriminating, not getting caught up in dualistic thinking again. We even leave behind notions of samsara because it's no longer relevant. We realize that it's simply no longer relevant to our true reality.